Okay, topic of the day is, do you need training or some type of certificate to carry handcuffs, to use handcuffs while being a private security officer in the state of California? The answer to that question is no, you don't need to have any type of training. But let me tell you what could possibly happen. So, the way the lawsuits work, and I'm not an attorney, this is not legal advice, this is just my personal opinion from what I've seen out there. The way it works out there in the civil litigation community is there's a certain standard that you have to meet as a private security professional. When you breach that standard, that is grounds for a lawsuit. Okay, it's called negligence. Once again, when there's a standard of care, there's some type of industry standard. When you deviate from that standard and somebody is injured as a result, that is negligence. Okay, you're going to get sued and you could possibly lose as well. In the private security industry, it's a standard that most of us, or it's a calling, well, a calling is a standard. It's a standard that most of us need training when applying handcuffs. Okay, handcuffs isn't just about slapping on these handcuffs on somebody and putting their hands behind their back and using a restraint device. There's a lot more to know. If you accidentally double lock a handcuff and you try to slap the handcuff on somebody's wrist, you could potentially chip their wrist bone. You can break it. Okay, if you do not apply a handcuff correctly, you can cut off circulation. You cut off circulation, you can cause irreversible permanent nerve damage. Also, if you don't have a good grasp on this person, if you apply a handcuff on them, they can use this as a weapon against you. Okay, that's how I was injured back in 2002. You probably can't even see the scar, but that's how I was injured. I was not able to have a good grasp of this person. I didn't have good control of this person, and this person hit me with the handcuff, the hook portion. So, in essence, the industry requires, okay, and I'm going to use quotation marks, requires you to have some type of training. You could go to defensive tactics school. A lot of the private security training centers out there have arrest and control techniques that cover handcuffing. Just ask. If you, for some reason, can't attend any of those courses, some of you were explorers, police cadets, before you became a private security professional. There is a certain level of training that comes with being a cadet or explorer. When I was an explorer, our meetings were a good 2 hours, and in that meetings we had arrest and control procedures, and we had handcuffing instruction. So you can easily testify if you have to. Hey, you don't have to say you're an explorer, but you can always say, I received 2 hours of training under the supervision of a sworn police officer with handcuffing and arrest control techniques. Okay, you can use that in your testimony if it comes down to it. If you don't have any other type of training at all, I'm not saying that this is the type of training that you should default to, but I'm just saying that this is a form of training that you can use as a last resort. Now, if you don't have the police explorer experience, I highly recommend that you get experience by somebody that knows what they're doing. So in your security organization, you might have a defensive, and I can't even think right now. I just got off doing a 12-hour shift. It's 8 in the morning. I work graveyards. Defensive tactics instructor. You might have those in your organization. Ask them to train you. Okay. Training doesn't mean that you have to sit down in a class and then you get a certificate. No, training can mean receiving instruction by a qualified person. Obviously, now that person might have to get dragged to court and demonstrate to the court why this person's an expert in this field. But hey, that put it back on them. Bottom line is, you do not need training. You don't need a certificate to carry handcuffs, but it's always a good idea.